Hey, this is Mr. Mola with a quick video on our review for today, and then for the quiz, some tricks and tips there. So if you look in Schoology here, obviously you got here to watch the video, you'll see that the reviews, again, kind of optional for today. I would maybe look at them, give them a try, make sure you know what you're doing, or I even have them separated by which section we did. So if you're really good with one section or you're really bad with one section, you want some extra help, there you go, there's some practice for you. So Section 1 was reviewing graphing and is it a solution? So they gave us some points or we graphed it. Section 2 was substitution. Section 3 was elimination. And Section 4 was the one, many, or no solutions. So if we look at a question from graphing, this is one of your questions on your review. So I'll do one line in black and one line in red here so we can tell the difference. So y equals negative x plus 2. So remember, when we're graphing two lines, we're going to start with whatever the y-intercept is. So in this case, it's a plus 2. So I'm going to go up 2 on my y-intercept. And then my slope is negative 1. So that means I'm going to go down 1, right 1. And it's important to draw a straight line here so we can kind of see where our lines are going to meet. Okay, so there's our black line. Now for our red line, I have y equals x minus 4. So again, we start with whatever the y-intercept is. So down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now this time our slope is a positive 1x. So I'm going to go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Luckily, it's not too far apart, and we can kind of see where they're going to meet. And where we're meeting is our solution there. So it looks like it's meeting right there. And that is at point 3, negative 1. So then our solution for this one would be 3, negative 1. So there's a question from the review about graphing. Next, here's one about substitution. So substitution, remember, we like it when it says x equals or y equals like this one does. So I'm going to take that y equals x minus 4, and I'm going to substitute it in for that y right there. So instead of writing 2x plus y, I know that y is the same thing as x minus 4. So I'm going to put in x minus 4. Then I got some cleaning up to do. I can combine some like terms. 2x and x give us 3x. And now I have 3x minus 4. So I'm going to add 4 to each side. And 5 plus 4 is 9. And now this says 3 times x. So I'm going to divide by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. So now I just figured out that x is 3. So I'm going to take that and try and figure out what y is. I think this bottom equation looks nice, so I'm going to put that 3 in for the x. So instead of y equals x minus 4, I'm going to do y equals 3 minus 4. And we figure out that y is negative 1. Okay, and now we got some elimination problems. Remember, elimination, my favorite. This problem is set up nicely because both of our x's are the same. We have a 2x and a 2x. Remember, if something wasn't the same, like our y's weren't the same, I could multiply this bottom equation by 3 to make the y's the same. We don't need to do that for this problem because our x is already the same, but if we pretend that our x's weren't the same and our y's aren't the same, remember, sometimes you have to multiply to make them the same first. But in this case, we're good because our x's are the same. And remember, this is called elimination. So I need to eliminate either my x's or my y's. So I need to decide if adding or subtracting would get them to eliminate. 2 plus 2 is not 0. 2 plus 2 is 4. So I wouldn't add in this problem. I would subtract because 2 minus 2 is 0. So that gets it to eliminate. And since I subtract the x's, I need to subtract everything else. I need to be fair. So negative 3 minus y gives us a negative 4y. And 14 minus a negative 10 gives us a positive 24. Divide both sides by negative 4. So I figure out that y equals a negative 6. So same thing like we did in the last problem. Now that I know y is negative 6, I'm going to plug that into this bottom equation here. So instead of 2x plus y, I'm going to do 2x plus a negative 6 equals a negative 10. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides because it's a negative 6. So I get 2x equals negative 4. Divide both sides by 2. And I get x equals a negative 2. So y equals negative 6 and x equals negative 2. And then for the last section, I'm just going to show you some of the questions here. So remember, this is the one that has many solutions, no solutions, or one solution. Remember, one solution will look like question number 1. I can tell number 1 is a 1 solution because my x's are the same, and I can't multiply anything to make both my x's and y's the same. My y's are already the same, but then I look at my x's, 3x and 7x. I can't multiply anything like that to get it to be the same, so I know once my x's or my y's are different, it's going to be a 1 solution. Second question, y equals 3x plus 4 and y equals 3x minus 7. So both my y's are the same, they're 1y. Both my x's are the same, they're 3x, but my numbers are different. It's 4 and negative 7, so those aren't going to be the same. So same x's, same y's, different numbers. If you remember, that means it is a no solution. Then if I look at number 3, 4x plus 4y plus 12, and then x equals y plus 3. So none of them are the same, but I could multiply that bottom equation by something and kind of make them look pretty similar. So if I multiply this bottom equation by 4 times x, 4x. 4 times y, 4y. 3 times 4 is 12. Everything ends up being the same. I get everything to the same. 4x equals 4y plus 12. So when everything's the same, that's going to be a many solutions. Okay, so you have 4 different reviews that you can choose to do depending on what you need help with. Again, they are optional. They're not going to be graded. I even think I have in there that you can see the answers right away after you submit it. And I think they're not even going into the grade book. I think it even says ungraded in there as well. So if you want to try them and get some extra practice before the quiz, that might not be a bad idea. Looking at the quiz here, it is 10 questions on big ideas. And again, kind of like the last quiz from a couple months ago, I'm going to go out of 90% here. So if you get a 90% on this quiz, that is going to be considered 100%. And the reason for that is because of the graphing. If you're one of those kids that doesn't like to graph and you're going to do this problem by elimination or substitution, then I don't want it to mark it wrong for you. So if you want to get some extra credit, then you can go ahead and do the graph on number 2. And then same thing, there's another question down here that has a graph to it. Number 8 also has a graph to it. So each of those is worth 5%. So I'm going to take those off. So that's why it's out of 90%. So if you want to get some extra credit, then go ahead and try the graph. Otherwise, then you'll get 90 out of 90, which will give you 100% for it anyway. So if we look at number 1, it's just plugging in the ordered pair, seeing which one works. Is 1, 2 the answer, 2, 1, 1, 1, or 2, 2? Okay. Number 2, it says you could solve it by graphing. The graph is there. They're both in y equals. If you'd like to solve it by graphing, go ahead. Otherwise, if you'd like to do substitution or elimination, you can do that as well. Don't forget to put the answer in down here, though. So don't just do it on the graph and forget to put it down on the bottom. Okay, 3, it says solve it by substitution. I'm telling you right now, I would not use substitution to solve that one. That is set up much nicer for me in elimination. 4, it says solve by elimination. I agree. I would solve that one by elimination. And then same thing with 5. It says solve by elimination. And I agree. You're going to have to multiply a number 5 to get the x's or y's to be the same. But elimination would be the way I would go there as well. And then 6, you have 3 questions there. Is it a 1 solution, no solution, or many solutions? And you have 3 boxes. There's going to be 1 in each there. So look at those 2 equations. See if they're going to have 1 solution, many solution, or no solutions. 7, kind of the same thing. It gives you the equation x plus 3y equals 6, and it wants you to find another equation that would make it a 1 solution, no solution, or many solution. And again, it's 1 of each. So you're going to click and drag which one would be the 1 solution, no solution, many solution. 8, 9, and 10 are kind of word problems, but kind of the same thing. So you're either writing an equation, or some of you will write it out logically on how you would solve each question. So you're trying to find how much a bag of sand costs and how much a bag of gravel costs on number 8. Number 9, you're trying to see how much it is to rent just a snorkel. I remember this problem from last year. Some kids are putting in how much the fins are. So this one just has one answer. How much is it to rent the snorkel, not the fins? And then 10, kind of the same thing. You're trying to figure out how much granola bars and yogurt cost. So you're either writing an equation or doing some guess and check there, depending on how good you are at writing out equations. Some of you might be going with the guess and check approach, which is perfectly fine, as long as you get the same answer. All right, let me know if you have any questions.